Good morning, everyone. It is bright and early here in Ohio, but we are so excited to be back with the lovely ladies of Gold EDU. And unfortunately, we're getting close to the start of the S word coming up very soon. For us, it's less than a month where Stephanie and I are. So, yeah, we thought maybe we should talk a little bit about back to school in case some of you are planning and kind of maybe sort of getting your minds ready. So, first off, let me reintroduce our lovely friends, or my lovely friends. We've got Stephanie, and there we go, and Ashley. Hi, friends.
Hi. Yeah,
Hi,
I went into
Megan.
Target, I feel like 2 weeks ago, and they started setting up the school supply aisle, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's kind of early for all of this, but I do love all the school supplies. So
I
I
know. Me
don't know
too.
about the school part, but the supplies. Oh yeah, I'm like, ooh, I think I need more pens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's your favorite school supply? Share it in the chat, but what is your guys's?
I think mine's Post-its. I didn't realize how many I had until recently. My husband gets me new Post-it packs every year for Christmas, and I have a lot, so I think they're my favorite. What's your favorite?
Stephanie, do you have one? Well, I'm thinking.
Mine are those pens. Where are they? Like the
Oh no, I was just
Sharpie,
gonna grab my pens.
these Sharpie pens that are like fine tip.
Hold on.
Oh, those are nice.
Oh, she had to go. She had to go get it.
Have
This
you
quiz
tried?
better be good.
There's erasable marker pens now. Have you tried those, Stephanie?
No,
Those are really nice.
I've tried. What did I try that was erasable, and it wasn't really erasable.
The section ones are very good. They do erase.
Okay.
Yes.
I have those, but the Pilot G2,
Those are good.
that's my favorite, especially the thin and the extra thin lines. I don't like thick print. So those are my favorite, but I don't need to buy more. But I
Yeah.
will.
But you
But
do.
it's just something about having a new pack of pens or a new pack of Post-it notes, even though you have a ton. I don't know. It's just that like
Yep.
feeling.
And for all of our teacher friends, if you go online to Target this week and you sign up for Target Circle and you put in your information, you can get one time 20% off everything.
There you
Wow.
go.
Thing.
That's a good deal.
Yes. And Meijer, if you have a Meijer near you, because I was in there yesterday, if you bring in your ID badge, they will give you 15% off school supplies for teachers.
Megan
Hobby
has
Lobby
all the
now does that too for teachers. They have teacher discount.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, I'm all
Yeah,
about
and then in our chat, we've got Sharpies, all of the colors. So
Yep.
not just some of the colors, including brown. Like, I don't know. We love our Rocketbook. I've had a Rocketbook before, and one of them went in the microwave. Like, I think it was the first version. That was weird.
Interesting. I have one. I've never really used it, so I need to
Yeah.
know some more tips on how to use the Rocketbook.
Okay, grid Post-it notes.
But look, they're transparent.
I know. Have you seen those actually?
I just ordered some from a newish site that I'm not really sure about because it's really
Yeah, let me
cheap.
see if I can pull them up. Yeah, Nikki, I saw these on Twitter from like Nikki Jones. They're transparent, and so you can write on them, and then it's like a clear background.
Those are cool.
Yeah. And so I think it'd be kind of nice if you were like tracing something. But it was interesting. But I didn't know they had grid on them.
Yeah, I didn't either. That's kind of cool.
I'm kind of like, oh, look at these ones that have like colors that are transparent.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is getting bad.
Yeah. Bath and Body Works has teacher.
I did not know that. I wonder when they
either.
started that. I shop there all the time.
Well, now you can get that teacher discount.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
All right. So, hi everybody. Once again, welcome to join. Oh, is this our Google group? I'll put this into the chat where you can get lots of information from us, from other educators. Make sure you guys are joining the Google group. And then we will also add in here our slides in just a second. Sorry, everybody. Trying to do.
No, you're good. And so with the Google group, again, it's just a place to connect with other educators, share ideas, ask for help, and just kind of learn along each other and share resources. So make sure that with this school year, if you need something, reach out to the group, because usually when I reach out, I get 10 different answers of ideas. And then I'm like, okay, which one will work best for this thing? So love it, or it's a combination of all 10 ideas. So again, use that resource to really help you grow this school year.
All right, we want to have a little bit of fun with you. We have a lot of people joining right now, and we want to go on a Bitmoji adventure. So within the slides, you can click on this page to add your own Bitmoji with us. So again, click on the slide, and you'll have edit access to add your own Bitmoji. And we are going to create a Bitmoji scene with our Gold community. We did this in the winter, I believe. But it's summer now and we need a new scene. So take the time to add your own Bitmoji. If you have the Bitmoji extension, it's really easy to just quickly add your Bitmoji to this page. You don't need to have it to add it. Now's a good time if you don't have that extension to quickly add that to your browser. But yeah, so just add a really cool Bitmoji pose to this slide to just have a fun summer scene with us and other members of the Gold community. And we will end up sharing this slide out. So we'll give you some time to post your pose on there, and then we will share it out with a fun Gold message for summer. I like, Stephanie, how you're hiding in the water. You're being so sneaky.
That made me laugh.
I don't think I've ever seen that Bitmoji pose.
I like the one with the popsicle.
Oh, yeah, I like that one too. Mm-hmm.
Oh, comment only. Let's see why that might be. It has editor. Maybe refresh, Melissa.
Here,
Oh, are you in this slide deck, Melissa? This one should be comment only, this slide deck. But once you click right here, it should be allowing you to add to this. Oh, I like the one with the boat. That's so fun.
That's fun. This is also a really cool time to see the variety of poses available.
Yeah.
Like I said, I never knew that Stephanie's was available. Now I want to use that one for something.
Oh my
these
gosh,
are great.
And I feel like it shows people's personalities too.
It does. Yeah, it's fun. But this is also something fun you could do with your staff for back to school activity.
Mm-hmm.
I know students don't always have access, but maybe something fun to do with your staff.
Yeah. All right. So this year, we want to kind of level up and think about ways that we can have a great school year. And sometimes that happens a little bit before the school year starts. So again, sometimes you might want to start bulk planning or bulk kind of thinking about what are things I can do now to make my school year even more successful. And I know for me in the past, I know we're a little extra here at Gold, but it really does make my school year go a lot smoother when I can get things like my newsletter organized and ready for the school year, when I can create maybe some procedures to put in place when it comes to classroom management, when I can start thinking about how I want students to respond in different situations, or if I want to save some time and spend maybe some more time with my family this year. So again, thinking about what can I do now in order to save time later or in order to have a better school year, I think is huge. So we're going to, again, just kind of talk about different ways to level up, but we also want you to share your ideas. So you're going to hear 3 different ideas throughout this session. But again, we want to hear your ideas because we learn so much by this community of educators growing together.
So to start, we're going to look at some classroom organization ideas. And we thought it would be fun for everyone to kind of rate your type of organization. And this makes me laugh because I know people in all of those columns. I know in our group, there are definitely, I think most of us we come across very a certain way. And I hope it's not a hot mess. I am definitely in between. I'm not 100% a 1 because I don't have everything. I mean, I have things labeled, but I don't have everything labeled and in bins and all that stuff. But I am definitely very, very organized. And I love organization. So, and I have one hidden mess drawer. It's like your junk drawer, you know, but other than that, I don't like junk.
Yeah, I'm the clean freak. I do have labels on almost everything. I did that during maternity leave. And it's pretty bad. Like they're clear bins, but they still need labels on them, right?
I agree.
Yeah, so I am that clean freak. There are some areas in my Google Drive though that are probably a hidden mess. Like I do have that junk drawer, but thank goodness Google has that really good search feature.
Yeah.
I'm a 2.
Yeah.
I have lots of hidden drawers with messes in them, but I want people like to walk in my office or my house and see clean. But then if you open up a drawer, you might not.
Yep.
But I would say my Google Drive right now is probably the cleanest it's ever been. I went through every single file and organized everything. So if you haven't done that in a long time, it takes a while. But then it's so satisfying when you do. So I'm definitely a 1, I think, with my digital organization the rest of my life.
Yep.
Do you want to share why it's so organized, Ashley?
Yeah.
Well, sure. It's so organized because I recently got a new job and I was forced to do it because I have to transfer everything to another account. So I'm going to a different school district, but I had to go through every single item and organize it. So it took weeks.
Yeah, and I think too, if you are kind of transferring to new districts or something like that, now is the time to clean. And if you need support, reach out to Ashley because she's been texting me and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think that you had to do that when transferring, or like there's no really good guide. And maybe somebody in the chat has a guide, share it with us. But it was just kind of interesting hearing her experience because I've never moved. Megan, I don't think has ever moved district, right?
When I moved, we didn't have Google. Like we didn't use Google. So I mean, I had everything in binders.
Yeah. So if you are moving or have moved, know it's a process. But Ashley has you covered.
You're right. I'm learning everything the hard way.
Yeah. So let's look at the chat. We've got a couple, well, maybe 1, 3, I think I see. So Jessica, you're the hot mess in our group. And we appreciate that and love you. And then we've got a lot of 2s. So like Tara, let's see here. Who else do we got?
I love Shannon's comment. I'm either 1 or 3. There is no in between. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm a combination of all 3.
Yep.
Yeah, I love Melissa's comment too. That's me. I would much rather clean my drive than my house too. That is for sure. Or even school supplies. Like I would rather organize the pencils and the pens and the markers into different bins rather than my house.
Yep. I mean, I even have my color pencils at school divided by color.
Oh, that's bad.
I need to dig for things. I need to get more drawers because I'm running out. Because all I do is I'm like, oh, they're $1 right now. I should buy more. No, I've been doing this for 23 years. I don't need more colored pencils.
And it's hard because they are just $1, right? Like,
Right.
and you're like, this is a deal.
Right. And I like brand new ones to start the. Yeah. I'm weird, everybody. I'm weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay.
Okay. So, Ashley, do you want to share your tip?
I would love to. So with organization, I love digital organization. And one of my favorite things to use is a hub. I'm not sure if you've used one or heard of one, but this is just one Google Sheet that you can use to put all of your resources or hyperlinked documents on it. I started using this about a couple years ago, and it was a great way for me to just store information and have instant access to it. I was tired of searching things, like searching websites that I frequently used. I had way too many bookmarks, so I made this Google Sheet. And I categorized by topics. This is actually the counseling hub that I share with my staff. But instead of having people go and look at Google Classrooms or other folders, I just say, go to my hub, and that's where you're going to find this resource or document. And it works great. So if you don't have a hub, you really need one. It's a huge time saver. I don't have one. I think I'm up to like 3 or 4 now. But I love it. And I continuously just update the information, change it for every year or for a new staff. So if you would like to make your own hub, there is actually a slide deck that Stephanie is showing with shared design kits where you can find the kit that you like. And there's templates that you can use right away for free. You just click on a template that you want. You can use the headers and create your own titles, but find a hub that works for you or for your school. Hubs are great for resources, for professional learning, to share with colleagues. Maybe you just want to make a personal one to keep track of websites, but I love this. This is the biggest time saver for me at school. I don't know, Megan or Stephanie, do you have a hub that you use?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have too many hubs. And someone was like, I love our hubs, but I'm sick of the word hub. And so they were like, we need a new word. And I was like, but it's just the hub.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we've got one for our building that Stephanie helped make last year. And then I fixed some things this year. I've got ones for my classes. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm excited too, because we had a principal that used Google Docs the last maybe 2 years, and he just switched to Google Sheets this year. And I was just really proud of him because it looks so much cleaner. It's easier to click.
Yes.
So I'm excited to see how the staff respond, because I've seen them in Google Docs and they're nice, but again, you get lost, I think.
Yep.
Okay.
Sherry, you can find the templates. We've got them linked.
If you click on the slides and then right here, this will open up the slide deck. And then also we sometimes will hide little surprises in the speaker notes. So down here in the speaker notes, you can find the slide deck again, but it's also right here. And then also here's that video if you want to watch the tutorial video as well. And we'll throw the slides in the chat again. So that way, if you need them, you have access to everything that you could possibly need.
Yes. And if you create a hub, we want to see it. So make sure you share with us on Twitter what you make.
Yep.
Yeah, because you can learn, some people use circles or some people use rectangles or squares. And I just love seeing all the different ways that you can create a hub. And I'm really curious. Someone said that they created it. I think it was Jessica in Sites. I would love to see what that looks like too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to see all those ed tech resources, Jessica.
Yeah. Yeah. So share a photo on social media. There's so many platforms right now. I'm trying to be on all of them, but I'm failing.
But you have like 30,000 followers. So you're not.
I'm
You're doing a
failing.
great
I'm
job.
failing. Okay. I can't keep up with all of these different platforms.
All right, Stephanie, what's your tip for organization?
All right. So mine is just setting up your learning management system. And we use Google Classroom, and there are a couple new Google Classroom updates coming soon. But a lot of these tips can be used for any learning management system. So the first thing is creating like a resource page or a resource hub. So you could take what Ashley shared and create a hub for your students and put it into a folder or a tab or a label or a topic, whatever your learning management system calls it. And from there, you can have your syllabus, you can have your updates, you can have a timeline of your students tracking of what they need to complete. And right here are just different examples of all of these different things to include in your resource hub or in your resource topic. Another thing you might want to do is like tech support. I've seen teachers make like a video of their classroom explaining how to use their digital space, but also physical space as well. I think that can be helpful. And then think about your organization. Every teacher is different. So do you want to organize by units, week, assignments? Do you want to organize by your subject area or a today's topic? So just think about how you're going to organize your information for your students and what's going to be best for you and what you teach. Everybody teaches a little bit differently. Everybody might have your students once a week, so you might organize that a little different if you teach maybe technology or something like that, and you only teach it once a week to a group of students. You might organize it a lot different compared to Megan, who sees her kids every day for 45 minutes. So take that into account, and that's okay that it looks different. Just think about what is going to be best for you and your class. And then when it comes to organization, use emojis. So this can just be helpful for your students to quickly see different things. So every time, for example, I had my students watch a video, I would add the little popcorn emoji. So that way it was just easy for them to know what the assignment was. If they were reading, it was a bunch of books. If they were exploring something, it might have been sunglasses. But this, again, just makes it really easy for students to know what the activity is and what they are expected to do. And actually, this should not be called Flipgrid. It should be called Flip. So there we go. And then naming patterns. Think about your naming patterns as well. How do you want to name your activities for your students? I suggest using a number and starting at like 0, 1. And that way, when your students go into their assignments, you can say, okay, 83, and they can quickly click and they're able to access that material. They're not searching for whatever you titled it. That can just take a lot of instructional time. I also teach my students Control F, and if I type name, it will show me where it's at on this slide, and it will highlight. So again, this will be really nice in order for your students to find resources by teaching them that Control F. I use this all the time on websites, on Google Documents, in the hub. It just helps you, again, find things a lot faster, and you just type in whatever you are looking for. And I can see that assignments pops up 5 times in this document, and then I can quickly go and search for that resource. So teach your kids Command F. And then also think about how you want your students to access that material independently. Do you want them to create a routine? You want to think about what is that routine? What do I want them to do? You want to help them practice finding the material. And then I love to use Fast and Curious, which is an Edu protocol, and there's a whole video on this. But I like to share the story that I was with a group of second graders, and it took them 10 minutes to get into Google Classroom. And I'm like, no wonder elementary teachers don't want to use technology, because I wouldn't want to use technology if it took 10 minutes every single day for my kids to get in. And so we gamified it. So this is great for the start of the year, and you'll write 10 minutes. But then on Tuesday, it took them 7 minutes. And on Wednesday, it took them 6 minutes. And then on, oh my goodness. And then on Thursday, maybe it took them 5 minutes. Okay, so see how their time is decreasing? By Friday, this group of second graders got it down to 30 seconds. And they were really excited. And the teacher could finally use technology because it wasn't a pain and it wasn't scary. So this was really helpful, again, for a group of second graders, but you could use this with your eighth graders and kind of gamify it as well, because sometimes they like to take their time when completing activities. So this could kind of, again, help it. They had this individually in their learning management system, which again was Google Classroom for us. They pulled it up and then they individually did their time, but then we did a class time. So the last person to add their time was the last time that I put on the board. So some students did a lot better than the 10-minute mark. Some of them were a lot quicker, but it just kind of depended on that group of kids. So that was one procedure that we kind of put in place just to kind of get that time down. Another thing is use screencasts. Okay, so when you are thinking about video recording, use it, because you're going to have students that are absent. You're going to have students that need to go back and rewatch the directions. And so with screencasts, what you're able to do is you can record, and I like to use Screencastify, but you can pick any tool that you like to use. WeVideo, Loom, record yourself. It can take maybe 2 minutes, and then include that video and use maybe arrows and different things like that and upload your video. So this can be a great way for your absent students. This can be a great way to free you up so you can help other students while they're watching the video directions. And then keep your stream to a minimum. So if you're using Google Classroom, I always go in at the start of the year and I hide those notifications, because if you don't, you're going to have comments from all of your kids along that stream, and it's just really hard to follow, because I like to use the stream for announcements. Instead of students sharing about what they did over the weekend or this thing or that thing, I will just put a post and say, what did you do this weekend? And then they can add to it. Another thing is I like to teach my kids to mark it as done because of the to-do list. So I like to add dates so they can prioritize and they can use some of those executive functioning skills to know when things are due. But then when they mark it as done, it goes away from that list as well. So again, those are just some ideas that you can create and set up for your learning management system. And I just finished creating with a teacher our Google scavenger hunt. And so I'm really excited about this. So once you have your learning management set up, we're going to be having our kids go through that learning management system, and they have like a scavenger hunt of different things to do that kind of align with executive functioning skills, where they're going to have to go in and they're going to learn, how do I watch a video? Because you don't just hit play and turn your headphones off. You actually watch the video. So we're going to teach them how to do that. We're going to talk about how to take a screenshot. We're going to teach them how to get to Google Classroom, how to do monotasking, where you're just focused on one task instead of switching between tabs between iReady and Edpuzzle and the game that you're playing. So we're going to teach them that skill. So this, again, can be kind of edited for your own classroom. I'll throw it into the speaker notes, but it's just a great way for your students to do this self-paced during the beginning of the year, because there's sometimes that awkward, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes where they're able to continue on and work on different activities during that time.
We've got some really good comments. Hopefully everyone found the slide deck. If you click on where it says setting up, that'll take you to what Stephanie just went over. And I like Louise's idea of videoing ahead of time. That way you can help or walk around and help students while you are teaching up front. That's a really good idea as well. So you can kind of go over your directions, record those, push those out in case kids like, what am I supposed to do? Because I teach 8th grade. And as soon as I go over something, I have so many kids that say, wait, what? I'm like, really? Just said that. So that's a great tip. I need to remember to do that. We kind of talked already about organizing your drive. So this was my thinking already. And I spent some time doing this, so you can kind of see how mine is broken down. Since I teach 8th grade social studies, I have all of my units in folders inside that where it says 0 social studies unit. That way it's always at the top of my drive. And then I've got other things numbered. I teach a class on the city of Washington, D.C. called We the People. And so I've got that there with my little emojis. I do have 2 number 3s because I was not finished with my old team information from last year. So I wanted to keep that available and visible for me until I was finished with it. And then I can move that to a previous team information. But I like to color. I don't like just a boring drive, but so I had some color on my slides or on my folders, but it might take a while to organize everything and put things where you want them, but I promise you in the end, it will definitely help. So that's kind of how I organize mine. And yes, I do have other things underneath my folders. Not everything is in a folder because there are some things I access often, so that I need them right in my drive. But for the most part, this is how my drive will look all year.
There's only one issue with it.
What?
I know what you're going to say.
It's list view, not grid view.
Because everyone likes the stupid grid view. I can't do it.
It's kind of a problem.
That's part of my
Maybe
organization.
it's better for the image.
Yeah. No.
All right. The next topic area for you to level up in is classroom culture. So within this area, this is a really great opportunity for you to think about how you can create an environment that's safe and welcoming for your students or staff or even families. So thinking about the kind of activities that you're doing to get to know your students or staff, to build that sense of community. Do you have check-ins in place? I know in my school, we have morning meeting time. So it's a great opportunity to have quick check-ins every day for students to kind of just see how they're feeling, how they're doing, and how you can better support them before the lesson. Do you have opportunities for your students to do quick goal setting? How are you establishing and maintaining relationships with students and families? Relationships are key. Students and families need to feel safe whenever they're in your classroom or in the school. So creating an environment where they feel safe and can thrive is so important. And then, are you taking enough time to celebrate successes? I know sometimes we get really busy and caught up in things, but it's important to stop and celebrate when people are doing a great job, whether it's a student, a colleague, but just give them praise. We need that as educators as well to feel more valued. So just stop and celebrate and make that a point in your day to just do that more. So again, building a positive classroom culture is the next area that we are going to highlight some things for you to do so you can level up in this area. So the first thing that we want to share with you are some team building activities. You can click on that slide and it takes you directly to the shared slide deck. So again, you click and then it takes you right there. I love team building activities, whether it's an icebreaker, discussion question, just a quick activity for a brain break. But these are like my favorite things to do with students. And right now you have edit access and you can add whatever you love to do with your students and staff. There's some slides separated by grade band. So there's elementary slide, middle school, high school. We even have a slide of things to do with staff. And then a page for Would You Rather. But this is a really fun opportunity for you just to add what you do and what you really enjoy. I know sometimes we're looking around last minute for things to do, especially the first week back to school. So put in here all that stuff that you love to do or websites that you use so that we can help each other. It's cool to see what's already been added by other members of the Gold community. So if you haven't already, I really encourage you to add some things. I know I'll be adding some more as well, because it's really important to just build that community early on and do really fun activities to build engagement.
The link above, I don't know if works. We'll have to see which link.
Yeah, we can check the link.
Oh, that was yeah.
And this is fun too. Someone shared this. Would you rather wear sunscreen or bug spray?
Oh, bug spray. I don't like going to get bit by bugs.
But I
know I should wear sunscreen. That's a hard one, actually. Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? I think I'd rather wear sunscreen. It smells better.
Yeah, I know. Well, look at this guy, like, he's got long sleeves on and he's putting luxury on.
You know what? Sometimes the mosquitoes are really bad. The first week in
Yeah.
July in Ohio, they were out of this world. I would go outside to garden or weed and just be covered in them. So I would probably be like that guy and just spray with my long sleeves on if I needed to.
Yeah. Yeah. This is fun though. This could be a great way to start your year. So whoever shared this resource, thank you.
I did add that one, and I have a lot more to add. I didn't make it though. But I love the would you rathers. And students do too. It's quick, get them up, get them moving. Yeah.
Yeah, so when it comes to going back to school, you want to create a safe space for your students. So this is a way that you can kind of incorporate group work, but also creating that safe space for your students within the first 20 days. So here's kind of a calendar, and depending on when your school starts is when you can decide how you're going to implement these different activities throughout. But there are just a bunch of different activities in here that you can kind of go through and use. But again, it's about creating that space where students feel like it's okay to fail forward, it's okay to share, and getting them safe enough so that later in the school year, you can have those difficult, critical conversations that you really want to pull their knowledge out. And I know for me in the past, I've had classes that are afraid to share. And so it's breaking down those barriers for me in order to have those deeper conversations. And I really strived when I went to the Google Innovator Academy in Sydney, Australia, because they taught you it was okay to share a really bad idea. And I kind of was hesitant at first when it came to sharing these different ideas. But once I started to realize that I was in a safe space with the different people that were kind of a part of the Innovator Academy, I started to thrive. And I think it's the same for our kids. If they don't feel safe in your classroom to share or safe with 30 different students in that class, we have to create that classroom environment and that classroom culture where it is okay to share. So down here, you can kind of see that Monica Gentle, she has battle brackets. These are really fun where there's two different choices and students kind of argue which one should move on within the competition. So these are a fun way. There's also personality tests that I'm obsessed with. There's also this brainstorming and pitch activity that you're able to do where students will have to create, for example, a rocket ship that goes to Mars or something like that. And they have to brainstorm what that rocket ship or what that looks like, that journey, and then they pitch it to you. So it's just, again, it's getting them creative, it's getting them to share, it's getting them to fail forward, but allowing them to fail in that safe space. There's also areas for them to make predictions about what they're about to learn. And I think when it comes to these predictions, a lot of times when I was working with kids with summer school, I was like, make a prediction. And they're like, no, like they wouldn't share a prediction. I'm like, you can't be wrong with a prediction. It's whatever you think. And they're always like, I don't know. But I'm like, you can't be wrong with it. And so getting them to feel safe to even just share a prediction I've seen go a long way. So again, it's just different activities that you can quickly do. Some of them might take a little bit longer than others, but just really quick activities that you can implement in your classroom to get them excited. And Greta and I did a session at ISTE on psychological safe environments. So we're actually redoing that session later today. So if you're interested in joining, or if you want to watch the YouTube recording, that will be available as well. But again, just think about how you can create your classroom culture and how it's okay for students to fail and speak up and get them speaking up, because later down the road, you're going to want to have those critical conversations where they're using that critical thinking.
So what I added was just some of those getting to know you ideas as you're starting back to school and getting your students, talking with each other. Very low stakes, so it's nothing too crazy. And I did just add links. The bingo board, lots of people use. So I've taken that, probably from somebody and then tweaked it. And then the other one, getting to know your table. I did not create this and I am not sure who to give credit to because I can't remember. But I did post that in there. This did not come from me though. But I think it was It's a great way if you've got your tables or seats and tables to get your students talking to each other. Very low stakes. You can add more on there, take off some, however many people you have at a table. But just kind of those first few days, easing back into school, getting to know your students. I have my kids with the scavenger hunt, get up, walk around. I can sign things as well. And then we go over each of them just by a show of hands, which one and it relates to them. And so those are both kind of very easy ways to get your students talking to each other, getting to know each other a little bit before we actually get into content.
I love the idea of having them work together with their table and group to find out like similarities and differences too. I think that's a great way to build culture.
Yep. So both of those, if you click the images, and will take you to links. Use them. They should all work, hopefully.
And I love the scavenger hunt. We did a building-wide scavenger hunt one year, and it was a little chaotic, but it got the students meeting like all the staff members, which was so fun. So I love that you shared a classmate scavenger hunt. Yeah. Those are so fun.
Yeah, so just kind of get to know each other. And then I had fixed it because in the past there's been like popular movies or a big concert or something like that that's gone on. I did it in the wintertime and with my elective class, and I had to tweak it. So you can always just fix things because maybe the movie, obviously last summer, is not as popular as like the Barbie movie. So I could put on there, saw the Barbie movie. I mean, I don't know if kids would admit they saw that. I would, but
I want to go see it.
Yeah. So you can easily tweak things to fit whatever's happening in real life.
Yeah, that's a great idea. All right, so classroom management. If you do not set up your classroom management at the start of the year, later down the road, it's going to be very, very difficult. And so you're going to maybe have more students act up. And I know for me, I would kind of ignore behaviors at the start of the year. And then during like Christmas break, they would be huge. And I'm like, why? And it was my fault because at the beginning of the year, I didn't nip it in the bud. So we're just going to talk about different classroom management tips and tricks that you're able to use. And again, we want to focus on the safety for our students and their care for learning. We want to be very consistent on those behaviors and expectations and routines, but we also want to engage our learners because when we engage students, you might not see as many behaviors popping up, but again, you need to have everything else in place too when that happens.
All right, first up is mystery reward. So if you click on the slide, it takes you directly to your own template on Canva. What I like about this is that it teaches the expectations for your classroom and reinforces what students need to be doing. And within this template, you can add whatever you want to reinforce within your classroom. But I know students really struggle with lining up quietly or listening to directions or being respectful. So I threw in a lot of those. And this is just a digital version. I've also had versions with Post-its where I just take off the Post-it when they do it. And then it starts to slowly reveal this mystery reward in the background, like on the page. But the idea is, as they complete these tasks or they're showing me that they are successful with whatever's listed on there, then I celebrate that success and I say that they did a really good job with it and I make it a really big deal. I take that one off or I cover it and then I let them know that there's this mystery reward. So I want them to be able to successfully complete all of these, and then there's some reward. So whatever they would have a lot of buy-in with, whether it's like extra recess, a little party in the classroom, extra free time, whatever interests them. But hopefully it just gets them all working together to follow the rules and just you're reinforcing what you want them to be doing in the classroom. It's just a fun way to like build in like some treasure too, or like an element of surprise, which I like.
That is really fun. I love that idea. Yeah. So mine is Capture the Flag. I saw this on TikTok. So one of my teachers actually found it and sent it to me. And what happens is, what I was thinking is, students are working together with their table group. So maybe you do an activity like Megan suggested where they're working together. And what happens is they have these flags. Now, they don't know what point values each of these different colored flags have. And so every group maybe has 4 flags to start. And you can either put them on magnets on the whiteboard, you could put them at their group. It's totally up to you. You could also use this without behavior, and you could do this with content. So what students will do is they will be with their group, and they will be collaborating, working together. And as I see group work happening or working really well together, what I might do is I might say, okay, you guys are working really well together. You can go steal a flag from another table. They pick a table to steal a flag, and now that group might have 5 flags. And as I see group work happening and group work kind of taking over the classroom and students collaborating, maybe using some sentence stems of like, I disagree because, or maybe they're providing extra justification, or maybe they pass the marker 3 times throughout the group, I might say, okay, you can go steal a flag. So I kind of had some group work challenges that I might kind of use where they might be thinking for 1 minute silently. And if I see that, I might kind of add that capture the flag. And then at the end, the points are revealed to the students and they tally up their points. And then the winning group maybe goes to lunch 5 minutes early, or maybe the winning group gets some type of reward for completing that behavior. So again, can be used with classroom management, but could also be used when it comes to content as well, where they answer questions and you can have students work together with a group. But this is kind of what I might use to kind of see if students are working together, where they might come up again with a compliment, where they're complimenting other students. Maybe they're helping someone in their group understand a new concept, or maybe they are using their group members' names. Because I would hate to be in a group where another person in my group didn't know my name until December. So getting them to use their names in August, I think, is huge as well to build that culture in your classroom.
Oh, that's me. Sorry. I'm in my little world. Starting with day 1, I like to set my expectations. Here, I'll stop for a second because Louise has a question for you. Stephanie, do you show the challenge ahead of time?
Yeah, I would tell them what you're looking for. So that way they know, okay, I should start passing the marker 3 times. And I put that into the speaker notes. Here's the slides as well. If you want to create your own challenges, you could also have this on a piece of paper, and maybe they put chips over it. And if they get 3 chips, then they can steal a flag. So it just kind of helps the group work together, or you can give them the permission to steal the flag. That's kind of up to you. And again, it depends on your kids as well and how many kids are in your class too. Okay, Megan.
Yeah. So I always come up with a daily agenda that I post every single day, talking about what we're doing. So my students know exactly from day 1, these are my expectations. This is what we're working on. I do have 2 links there of where I have gotten free templates from the 2 ladies that are linked. So there's one that's kind of maybe a little more maybe junior high, middle school, high schoolish, and then the other one is maybe a little more elementary-ish, but I use both and kind of combine them into what works best for me. And I'm not sure how often they update them, but they've got great ideas, great templates. So I put both of their links there because I feel like if you are starting day 1 with the objective, reminders, your agenda, whatever you want to put on your your daily agenda slide, students can look there and know what to do. I tried to make it fun by putting each day, whatever the national day was. This is from last year, but that way they have something to look at. And if I don't like what the options are, or they're not, sometimes aren't school appropriate for the national day, I try to find like a funny video that we can watch. It's really fast. There were groundhogs that kept stealing this guy's vegetables. And so he built them their own like farm, their own little garden for the groundhog. So we've watched that. I've got videos. If it's like, I don't know, Penguin Day, I've put little clips of penguins, some videos that are like marching around this year. So if anyone has any more suggestions, if it's a day that has a song that goes with it, like Earth, Wind, and Fire, the September song, there's a Taylor Swift song. If it's got the day in it, I want to put that in. Of course, when it's almost May, I have to use the NSYNC. It's going to be May, going to be me, picture, whatever. So I put that on. But if anybody has songs that have days in them, please let me know so I can include those and maybe play a little clip for my students.
I wonder if Christine already has a playlist for that, Megan.
Oh, probably, because she has so many. I should ask her.
I do know she has like Valentine's Day and stuff like that, but you should ask her.
No, or that would be her challenge for her students this year.
Yes.
So next we want to talk about, May 2nd is Harry Potter Day. Oh, good for Capture the Flag. Ooh, mark that one down. I like that. We're going to talk about some time-saving tips next. Being your own bookmark boss, kind of keeping track of things and organizing those. And I just organized my bookmarks the other day and got rid of ones that I don't use anymore. Monotasking, focusing on one task or one tab, whatever you want to do. Looking at your drive settings and I'll show you how to set that up here in just a moment. And then bell ringers to start class. Even though I didn't include anything, I was thinking, well, what can you do to start class so that you can kind of get things going and doing like your attendance or whatever, absent student stuff. Bell ringers are also a great way. I'm sure people have heard about bell ringers for a bazillion years. So that's another way for some time-saving tips.
All right. First up is bookmarks. I love bookmarks and I use them all the time. But sometimes when you have too many of them, it can be hard to find. And you need a good system for organizing them. That way you can get to what you need right away. So this can be a really good challenge for you. I'm not sure when you last organized your bookmarks or how you organize them, but there's a little checklist on here for you to go through so that you can be the boss of your bookmarks. So when I bookmark, I like to save sites that I use right away. We waste so much time like logging into sites or opening up a new tab to search for something. If you go to something frequently, bookmark it. It's so easy, especially if you're on Chrome, to click the star at the top to bookmark a site, and then you can customize how you want it saved on your bookmarks bar or in a folder. So if you want to save these slides for today, you can click the star, and then I don't know if you're the kind of person who just saves the default title on the bookmark, which is like so long and it takes up so much space on your bookmarks bar, or if you customize. I love being able to use a shorter name for bookmarks. So if you, again, are saving this slide deck for today, you click the star. Don't just save that huge title in the name area. You could add an emoji. You could add a shorter title. Or if you know what this site is or the app is, you don't have to use a name at all. I like the emoji though with the short name for back to school. I can choose where I want to save it. If I want to put it right on my bookmarks bar, which is the default option, or if I want to use one of my folders, I can even create a new folder if I don't have one there right away. And then I click save. So be the boss by quickly reorganizing. If you don't want a name for a bookmark, you don't have to. You can see on this browser, you'll notice like Gmail, for instance, doesn't have the word Gmail next to it. It just has the icon for Gmail. And I love that because I know what that image is. I don't need it to say Gmail next to it. Maybe you do, and that's fine. I'm not judging. But I like when I can squeeze a lot of bookmarks or folders in my bar because I'm using shorter names. So think about how you can shorten your names or add folders. That way you don't have as many bookmarks on there. something that I started doing a couple years ago was I made a folder in my bookmarks bar for to do. So instead of having like 20 tabs open on my browser, I made a to do folder. That way, whatever I was working on, I could literally right click and I could send all of those tabs directly to my to do folder. That way I didn't have to worry about losing them or it taking up more memory when I was going to teach a lesson or in a meeting or whatever. I just made a to do folder and I loved knowing that I wouldn't lose what I was working on, because if you were like me and you didn't want to like lose that tab and you had all of them open, I just needed a new system. So again, I made a to do folder and it sent all of those tabs directly to my to do folder. And that's been really helpful for me. And also it clears up my browser too. And it makes people think that I have a really organized browser. And I guess I do, right? But little do they know I've got like 20 things that I'm really working on right in my to do folder. Something else that I also made for folders was a daily folder. So whatever lesson I was teaching, if I knew I was going to have to go to like 5 different websites, instead of having them like all up or having to search for them right away, I put them in my daily folder, or I make that content specific. That way, when it was time to teach that lesson or do the activity, I could go in my folder with all of those daily things, and I could right click and send all those tabs to my browser so it opens them right away. Save yourself time. I know we don't have a lot of it, so I like to just shoot them right up to my browser because I tell them when to go up there. So again, that helps me. I liked having a to-do folder and a daily folder. That way I didn't have a million tabs all the time. So think about how you can better reorganize your bookmarks bar. What I also like doing is pinning my favorite things or my frequently used things on my browser. And you can pin something. So if you have a tab open, all you have to do is just right click and choose pin, and then it makes that pin smaller for you and it doesn't move from your browser. So again, if you wanted this site pinned, for example, all you have to do is right click and you click pin. If you don't want it pinned anymore, then you click unpin. So I know a lot of things that I typically pin are like my Gmail or my Drive or other things that I use right away. So pin them that way they don't move, and you can even reorganize them and drag them to a different order. That way you have what you need right away and you're more organized. So yeah, so have fun reorganizing, be the boss of your bookmarks. When you feel like you have too many, go up to the other slide deck and make a hub.
Yeah, and Jessica has a startup folder, which is a great idea.
Yes, that is.
Because then you can open them all up all at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's so smart, Jessica. I love doing that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my tip is monotasking. So this is a new word to me that I learned mid-year last year. And what happens with monotasking is you focus on one task at a time. And I bought these timers from Amazon and they're amazing. There's like different numbers at the top, and you just set the timer. And now I have a 10-minute timer. Now I have a 60-minute. Now I have a 5-minute or 50 or whatever. And what's nice about this is I can focus on a task such as email for 30 minutes. Once the timer goes off, I'm done with that task. And so these have been just really nice, because before I was going between tasks and like tab by tab by tab. And there's a lot of research that shows that that's really bad for you. So what I do is I use this lesson to help the students think about monotasking and what they can do to get better at it. And then they do some estimating and they think about, again, what they need to do. Yes, I will add the Amazon links for these timers in the speaker notes, but they've been really helpful. There's this one I have, and then I also have this one that has different time on it. This one's like shorter time. This is like longer time blocks. But again, it's just been helpful to say, okay, I've got 5 minutes to do this task and that's it. And typically you do get it done because you're so focused on that task. And that's why I've been using timers with kids as well, to really help them focus in on what we're doing right now instead of having 5 different tabs open.
And then my tip is I saw this on TikTok and thought this was a genius idea because there are things that I have that are in PowerPoints or Word. And since we use Google, they don't open easily. So you would either have to, go and Drive and then click on item like the PowerPoint and then open with and then change it that way. But I saw this on TikTok that if you go in your Drive settings, if you use Google, click on convert uploads, whatever it is you're converting to Google Docs editor format. As soon as you upload something that's not in Google, it saves as a Google, Google, whatever, slide, doc, whatever it is on Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, it automatically converts it. And so I thought, well, that's a good little, tip and trick because I don't have to now try and figure things out. Sometimes some of the fonts are different a little bit, but overall, I have checked and everything has seemed to upload into Google that was a PowerPoint. So that's pretty cool because I know there's things out there that maybe you've used before and you want to switch them over to what you're using now. This definitely helps without the extra little step.
And I didn't know about that tip, so I like that because it's such a pet peeve when someone shares like the Microsoft Word version with me through Google. I'm like, come on, make that. Like you got to reformat to Docs.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a nice trick, Megan.
Yeah, thanks. Gotta love TikTok.
I do, yeah. So now we want to hear from you and some of the things that have been working really well or really helpful for you. We want you to help us level up this year. So you can click on this slide or click in the chat and you have an opportunity to share what you're currently doing, to share with organization, to share with improving culture, or classroom management, or even just some time saving tips. This is your opportunity to create with us and to share some of those things that are really helpful for us and the other members of the Gold community.
Yeah, so share your ideas on this slide deck, add a slide, add your name, your year, your tip, and your Twitter. And then we can kind of share these out. Make sure to tag us so we can celebrate all of those wonderful tips and ideas that you have. And then we want to know how to support you this school year. So if you could take a moment to fill out this Google form to let us know how we can help. So you'll just add your email, your name. We're not going to judge you, so don't worry about any of that information. It's just to kind of follow up if we need to. And then right here is where you can check any of these resources that might sound interesting to you, but please add as much detail as possible so we can support you this school year. And then stay connected. So stay connected with us this school year. Again, join that Google group. Let us know your feedback so that we can improve. And then follow us on Twitter as well. And cheers to an incredible year. And if you are feeling generous, because we're going to need it very soon, feel free to buy us a coffee. I will check out that form as well to see what is going on and why we need permission. So that form will be fixed very soon. But again, if you want to buy us a copy, feel free to do that because it's going to be an exhausting start of the school year. And we're looking forward to it. And we're looking forward to connecting with you as well. All right. Any other lasting tips?
I don't think so. Just have fun, relax as best you can. I don't know. It's going to be a great school year. Positive mindset.
Yep. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Enjoy this time to relax.
Yep, for sure. And thank you guys for joining us. It was great to be kind of back together with my friends and lots of, comments going on in the chat. So we love that. And like I said, make sure you guys fill out that form. If there's things that we can help you with this year, we're always looking for new ideas, or if you need to reach out to any of us, we are here for you. So thank you guys for joining us in this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day and great start of your year.